You travel in town. It's not just the places you visit, it's the way you experience them. From private tours to after hour visits, our expertly guided journeys take you behind the scenes, beyond the crowds, and into moments few ever encounter. Moments that astonish, inspire, and stay with you for life. Travel beyond ordinary. Travel with Tauco.
Your courage.
Explore the rivers of Europe with Taup. Connect more deeply to the people and places you visit. Enjoy a more intimate, engaging atmosphere with fewer passengers on board and expertly guided shore excursions, all included in one upfront price. Travel beyond ordinary. Travel with Taup.
Hi, I'm Dave Bonnell from PDQ Door. Started the company 31 years ago. When somebody calls PDQ Door, I want them to feel like they're getting the best customer service that they've ever gotten. Customers come back to PDQ because of our exceptional service, quality products at a fair and reasonable price. A company that was started by two guys and two trucks. Fast forward 30 years and it's 90 employees and 60 trucks on the road. It's an amazing American business story.
This is a story about the one. The one who looks to Granger to make sparks fly. Getting it done right is a craft. It takes experience, the right material, and the right partner like Granger with a wide range of professional grade products. For the one, working Working hard means others can play even harder. Call clickgranger.com or stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Los bebés son pura energía, nunca se detienen, nada los frena. Y detrás de tanto brinco está el pañal imparable 360 de Pampers, con un ajuste inmejorable 100% a prueba de derrames. Ahora con las nuevas tiras elásticas y siempre Pampers, cambiar pañales es más fácil que nunca. Fácil de remover, envolver y poner. Y a jugar de nuevo, porque son Pampers, detrás de cada bebé. I do anything.
Pro Plan? Excellent choice.
Yep, he keeps you ready for anything.
Sure. Pro Plan's exceptional nutrition fuels all of life's adventures. PetSmart. Anything for pets. Courage.
wouldn't settle for bait man when there's Batman?
Don't touch that. Well, now I want to touch it more. Shouldn't have touched it. Little help.
Don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Courage.
You wouldn't settle for bait man when there's Batman?
Don't touch that. Well, now I want to touch it more. Shouldn't have touched it. Little help.
Don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Streets where there's so much cheer. I should be playing in the winter snow. Christmas.
Kissy. Please hold and the next available agent will assist you. Thank you.
Man. Of course. The name on the card is Amanda R. St. Pierre. Hmm? Yep. Okay. Of course. No. I am not. I've never used it. Okay. No, no, I have not. This card is mostly used for utilities and household expenses, so. I've asked everyone who did, and the answer, they haven't made any purchases with it either. It is. I'm looking at it right now. Yes, I do. No, I can go into the bank branch on Saturday and get a new one. Same to you. Of course. All right, bye bye. Thank you.
Inquiry today? Press 1 for yes. Press 2 for no. Does the company make it easy to handle your inquiry? Press 1 for yes. Press 2 for no. Would you like to give us feedback on how we could service you better in the future? Please press 1 to leave a comment, or press any other key to skip. You have now completed the survey. Thank you for taking the time to share your experience with us. Goodbye.
All right. So Saturday, I'll have to go get a new debit card,
Okay.
which means we're gonna have to update anything we pay with that credit card,
Okay.
which should be mostly utilities.
Yeah, it's just CMP.
Well, CMP, internet.
Yeah, and
Unitil. And I think our rent. Our rent's already
T-Mobile.
paid. Anyway, but I think our rent comes directly out of the bank account.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it comes directly out of our bank account, so we don't need to worry about that. When is the next electricity bill due?
Before the 7th.
Oh shit! I'm gonna take Sarah back to school on Saturday.
You could probably just dump that into your account and then close the account and then. I guess yeah, there's no worry
See,
of
for
it still
me-
being available. Is it just the card?
It's just the card.
Yeah.
For me, having the separate account actually is helpful because that way I know that I'm putting my money that we need in that account every pay period.
Right.
And like I don't touch it.
Right. Yeah. So you got what I'm saying is, if there were concern with the account security or whatever,
No, I don't think
to-
that's it. It was the
and
card.
as far as like the
'cause-
timeline of getting it fixed, like if it couldn't be Saturday to get it handled, then what's the big deal if it's
there's block on the card.
yeah.
But when I looked at the account this morning, so there's a deposit from you, and then a couple of pending transactions for AliExpress from yesterday, but I put a block on it.
Mm.
Ditch the subscription.
I just manually locked the card. So I can't unlock it until I go into the bank on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Today we are undertaking a deep dive into something. Well, it's fascinatingly meta. We've got a structural breakdown of a 12-issue post-apocalyptic comic series.
Right.
But this isn't just about reading a story. We're looking at the actual architectural blueprint for a story. One that's specifically engineered for a big film adaptation.
And that blueprint shows us that the whole global collapse wasn't random at all. It was more like a prelude
to orchestrated chaos.
Exactly. And that structural approach is what makes these sources so valuable for you, the learner. We're in a world defined by these isolated walled enclaves, roaming undead.
And this really unsettling core concept.
The idea of weaponized spectacle. Think about that. Forced concerts, not for morale, but designed to herd the walking dead like they're cattle.
So our mission today is pretty simple.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how a whole stack of what look like independent survivors accounts, a scavenger here, a guard there, how they all actually lock together.
To reveal one single hidden design behind everything.
A manipulative one. The whole world is running on a kind of hidden soundtrack. So the conflict isn't just about survival. It's about sonic and emotional control, which, it effectively turns the entire Shattered World into a performance.
A performance, yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this secret score.
To really get the manipulation, you have to look at the geometry of the narrative first. The series establishes its foundation in the first third, that's issues 1 through 4, by anchoring everything in 3 distinct locations.
3 nodes that the survivors move between.
Exactly.
Okay, so node 1 is the prison fortress. This is the absolute center of gravity for the story, isn't it?
It is. It's where you find the leadership, the biggest population, and all the, let's call it dark social experiments. It's the control hub.
And node 2?
That's the scavenger caravan. They're the mobile element, the logistics engine, basically. Moving supplies, moving people across the ruins. They represent movement, scarcity.
The grind is survival. And then node 3 is the underground data vault.
The intellectual spine of the old world. A bunker that's just full of data, trying to preserve knowledge. So they represent the attempt to remember, to analyze, to rebuild.
But you said the prison is the linchpin.
Oh, absolutely. The prison fortress, and specifically its gate, is the true spine of the entire series. It's where that spectacle is most visible.
The concerts.
The concerts. The source material details this bizarre security mechanism, using these grotesque rock performances, like Hurtabice's band playing Rock You Like a Hurricane, right at the gates.
To lure the zombies into predictable patterns.
Predictable, manageable patterns. It seems like an insane waste of resources, but it's an incredibly effective form of control.
And the comic's own structure mirrors this. It's also a kind of controlled chaos. The first third, issues 1 to 4, sets up those 3 locations and the rules of the game.
Right. You think you're reading 3 separate stories about survival.
So then you hit the middle third, issues 5 through 8.
And this is where the camera pulls back. The characters, piece by piece, start realizing that their struggles, their conflicts, even some of their memories are being subtly shaped.
By an unseen hand, the separate stories start to weave together,
pointing toward a single source.
Which all comes to a head in the final third. Issues 9 to 12. It's the convergence. Everyone is drawn almost magnetically back to the prison fortress.
And the hidden orchestrator is finally exposed. The world faces this massive choice. Do we try to restore the chaotic freedom of the old world? Or do we accept a safer, but totally controlled future?
It's just a structurally brilliant setup, almost mathematical.
It really is.
Okay, let's ground all this. I think we need to dive into the narrative hook in issue 1. It's called Here I Am. This is the perfect example of how that small-scale emotional engineering works.
Right, so we meet the warden, the prison's leader, and she is struggling with this violent, just irrational hatred for one of her prisoners.
Hurtabice, the charismatic front man in these wonderfully tattered 80s metal clothes.
The scene opens with just immense tension. Hurtabice, the prisoner, he walks up to the warden and simply says, "Here I am."
And the warden is just flooded with this deep, stinging offense. It's a completely disproportionate reaction to the phrase.
Totally. And immediately after that, we get the forced Rock You Like a Hurricane concert. It's a great visual set piece, flares, noise, the undead gathering like an audience.
And the warden is just watching, seething with anger at what she sees as Hurtabice's arrogance, his defiance on stage.
But the genius twist comes later. She reviews the logs.
He wasn't defying her.
Not at all. He was following her own standing orders to announce himself properly before starting the concert. Her rage was entirely manufactured.
Here's where it gets really interesting. You realize the biggest threat wasn't the zombies at the gate, it was the instability of her own mind.
And the narrator steps in to tell you why. It was the prisoner drummer. The one sitting behind her to be, calmly setting the rhythm.
The one you weren't even paying attention to.
Exactly. He had implanted a specific psychic or maybe emotional trigger tied to that exact phrase, "Here I am," directly into the warden's mind.
It's just a beautifully terrifying idea.
It's like a post-hypnotic suggestion, a kind of advanced Pavlovian conditioning. The phrase acts as a switch, overriding her rational thought and flooding her with this targeted anger.
All designed to divert her attention and suspicion away from him, the drummer.
Right. So her defining emotional conflict in the entire opening issue, her driving motive, was completely manufactured by a musician.
And by the time the concert is over and the gates hold, the warden realizes it. She understands she was manipulated.
Which completely shifts their relationship. It goes from this pure, irrational hostility to a kind of uneasy, necessary alliance. They need each other to survive the prison.
So the small-scale manipulation is now exposed. And that's the perfect question to ask now. How does that little emotional landmine in issue 1 scale up?
Right. How does one tiny targeted trigger end up moving entire scavenger caravans across a continent?
So if we connect this to the bigger picture...
The drummer's actions are anything but random. Issue 2 fills in his backstory. He was a session musician, yes, but also a stage hypnotist before the collapse.
So he didn't just have talent, he'd spent years mastering how rhythm dictates mood and emotional response in huge crowds.
And when the collapse happened, he discovered that this ability, it translated, it didn't just influence living people, but the undead too.
He didn't just survive, he found his ultimate instrument.
You're right. His core conflict shifts from just staying alive to actively deciding whether to use this ability for simple personal gain or to take on the massive responsibility of shaping the entire post-apocalyptic world.
To him, the prison leadership and the zombie hordes are just
malleable instruments, things to be played. And this is where the meta-narrative really kicks in, because the source reveals he's either the narrator or he's very closely aligned with the narrative voice. He's setting up a long con, a global piece of music.
And his influence just radiates outward across the middle part of the series. We see all the vectors of control.
Exactly. First, we follow the mobile element. In the scavenger caravan story, that's issue 3, the scouts notice something impossible.
Their routes are being subtly redirected.
Redirected toward test sites, places where strange concerts or signals had been broadcast weeks before. They realize they aren't following logical paths for resources, they're being guided.
By a frequency, like musical breadcrumbs.
Then you look at the data vault in issue 4. The archivist down there finds an impossible file. A predictive model of specific events.
Not just any events.
No. Key concerts, major caravan route deviations, even critical deaths.
Yeah.
All predicted based not on logistics, but on emotional resonance patterns.
That's where the technical jargon gets terrifying. It's not just predicting a riot, it's predicting a riot based on the exact BPM of a song played 3 weeks earlier.
The past, present, and future are a single massive score.
And conditioning is so personal, so invasive. Issue 5 focuses on a defector, a former guard who's trying to confess what he knows.
But he's so deeply conditioned that a specific trigger phrase causes him to just stop, reverse course, and betray himself right in the middle of his confession.
It's like a time-delayed suggestion, deeply implanted.
And how is the signal spread? Issue 6 brings in a rogue radio operator. They intercept the archivist's strange coded messages about emotional harmonics.
And the operator realizes this signal can be amplified, overlaid on any music, a carrier wave for control.
They run a small test broadcast, and they watch as the local zombies immediately agitate and move in a specific pattern.
The same pattern the zombies use at the prison's gate during a concert, so the control isn't limited by proximity, it's broadcastable.
And then, maybe the most hopeful but also terrifying development is in issue 7 with the choir. A group of kids who use synchronized humming and chanting to naturally calm large zombie groups.
And they realize they're tapping into the same underlying phenomenon as the orchestrator.
Yeah. As they practice, they inadvertently sync up with the drummer's distant global influence. They're an organic part of the control grid, whether they want to be or not.
The synthesis is just. It's irrefutable. The whole structure of these first 8 issues is designed to demonstrate that rhythm and emotion are the fundamental weaponized currency of control in this new world.
And it affects everything. Every human faction's decisions, and critically, it dictates the movement and behavior of the undead hordes. It makes them predictable, manageable, or catastrophic, all depending on the beat.
So what does this all mean for the big conclusion? We're heading into the final third, and all those scattered, manipulated vectors, the caravan, the defector, the radio operator, the choir, they're finally paid off.
Issue 9, Convergence. This is the ultimate turning point.
Because the drummer's master plan is revealed.
Right. He wasn't just managing the chaos, he was actively consolidating it. He used all those subtle influences to pull every single faction to the prism, right as the largest zombie assault in history begins.
It's a literal forced ensemble performance.
For his final world-defining movement, yeah.
And that sets the stage for issue 10, the orchestrator. This is the intellectual core.
It is. Whether it's the drummer himself or some vast intelligence he's aligned with, they debate the ultimate ethical question. Is it better to force the world into one unified, controlled song, eliminating chaos and death?
Or do you relinquish control? Do you accept the return of chaotic human choice, even if it leads to inevitable self-destruction?
It's a choice between unified subservience or global extinction, because the undead respond to patterns that could either domesticate or annihilate them entirely.
The climax, then, is issue 11, The Last Performance.
And Hurtubise and the Warden, whose relationship was born from manufactured hatred, they now stand as joint protagonists. They stage this massive final concert, integrating the prison band, the choir's calming frequencies.
And the broadcast signals the radio operator mastered.
But the crucial moment is that they execute a risky improvisation. They deliberately break away from the orchestrator's preset, predictable pattern.
And the battlefield just transforms. The Horde's behavior shifts in a third, totally unexpected way. They're not pacified, they're not feral. They become something else entirely.
And that improvisation proves that genuine, creative human choice can actually overcome the systemic control grid.
The visual language reinforces this so beautifully, too. The sources talk about the cinematic look of the heavy metal apocalypse.
Oh yeah, sickly greens, cold blues, these hot neon magentas reflecting off Hurtubise as he's clutching the microphone like a weapon.
And that contrasts so sharply with the final conceptual visual, the Silent Night image. It shows the entire cast, including the drummer, with a softer gaze, all gathered on a beach around a makeshift driftwood Christmas tree.
It hints at a cozy, bittersweet, and shared future, one built on mutual understanding, not manipulation.
So if we summarize the core takeaway for you, the learner, this entire 12-issue structure is basically a masterclass in systemic manipulation. The collapse was just the opening movement.
Music and emotional conditioning became the hidden architecture of the entire post-apocalyptic world, dictating life and death.
Which raises an important question.
It really does. Because the ultimate resolution in issue 12, the coda, it delivers a major structural punch. First, this phenomenon of emotional and rhythmic control is revealed to be self-propagating.
Meaning anyone can learn it.
Any community, the moment they understand the principle, can learn it and apply it. The power is democratized.
But the true kicker is the second twist.
The series-long narrator, who we now know was aligned with the orchestrator, steps back and admits their entire account was biased. They were shaping the story just as the drummer was shaping the world.
Which invites you, the reader, to immediately go back and reinterpret every single earlier event, now that the narrative control is gone.
So, if the secret to world-shaping power is suddenly available to everyone, but the entire history you just learned was fundamentally unreliable, how do you decide what kind of society to build next?
What power does that final echo of "Here I am" hold when it's used not as a trigger for manufactured offense, but as a declaration of genuine mutual recognition among equals?
That's the score you have to write for yourself.